Growing up, my mother was a series of earthquakes. Her high tide flooded the church we built in our home. She never mastered the art of treading. So she'd always say, I taught you how to swim when you were 5 years old, so when the waves were taking over and you felt like you were drowning, you would instinctually trust the water. In the same way she'd always say, nobody's gonna save you but you. She'd always remind me it's not always going to be like this, that everything that feels like it's pulling you under will allow you to float to the surface someday. You're going to be okay. Just open your lungs and breathe. My father was a thunderstorm. His faith shook the house to the core of its heart. I could have sworn we lived by the train tracks some days. The kind of hope he was grounded in generated enough electricity to light the neighborhood with promise when his thunder cracked. I'd count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi to see how far away he was from the friction in his bones becoming lightning. My parents, who on the best of days may not have had it all together or had all the right answers, but were a walking, breathing, screaming example that it's okay to be broken. Growing up, your mother was a natural disaster and your father was Tornado Ali, so I understand your lineage. It's like my own. I know that the storm of your home could never wait for the calm. So you found your own ways of filling up the room, peeling back the wallpaper, making the bed, a makeshift rowboat. I could see it from the end of the street you grew up on, like a canal. Loneliness pouring from your doors like someone forgot to turn off all their faucets. I was born of earthquakes and thunderstorms, and you were a flooded basement that was no longer meant to be a place for safe hiding. There are 1,000 things I wanted to say to you, so I pasted them to the back of my throat, and now when I breathe, it feels like I have an entire ocean in my stomach and an anchor lodged in my chest. I promise my heart will be your San Andreas fault line. So when life feels like an earthquake, when it feels like it's sending tremors down your spine and into your lungs so it feels like you are drowning, I want to remind you that my mother taught me how to swim and my father taught me about hope, so I know you're going to be okay. You just have to open your lungs and breathe.